Okay, so now we are reaching more of our multi-step problems. So follow along with me as we complete these examples. All right, if you remember from our chart, step 1 states that we need to simplify the equation so that it is in the form of y equals mx plus b. This is the first time that our equation is not already in this form, so we are going to have to do step 1. It tells us to perform distributive property if you see parentheses. I see parentheses here, so I am going to perform the distributive property. So remember, first thing we want to do is draw a line through our equal sign to separate the two halves of our equation. I'm going to distribute the number on the outside of the parentheses to the inside. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 4 is positive 8. Now that my equation is in the form y equals mx plus b, I'm just going to follow the same steps as I did in the previous section. Now, if you've reached this proficiency checkpoint, you should be pretty fluid in solving two-step equations. So I'm just going to go over the steps. I'm not going to go super in-depth into it, but remember, you can always refer to the chart or look back at your previous examples. So here we are going to subtract 8, 8 minus 8 is 0, so we have 6x equals 12, divide by 6, divide by 6, x equals 2, because 12 divided by 6 is 2. All right, next example. Remember, again, the only difference here is that we need to simplify this equation before we can solve. I'm going to draw a line through the equal sign, and I need to perform the distributive property. Positive 2 times negative 3x is negative 6x. Positive 2 times positive 4 is positive 8 equals 32. All right, next we need to subtract 8 from both sides. So we get negative 6x equals 24. And then we're going to divide by negative 6 on both sides. So we get x equals positive 4, because a positive divided by a negative is, sorry, that should be negative 4. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. Okay, make sure you copy down that entire example. All right, next one. Again, we're going to perform distributive property. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 equals 22. Now we're going to add 8 to both sides. We get 6x equals 30. And then we are going to divide by 6 on both sides. So x equals positive 5. Take a moment to copy all of that. All right, next, we're just going to keep on going with our distributive properties. So I'm going to draw my line down the middle. Distribute the negative 2. So a lot of these problems are very similar. That's why I'm going so quickly now. If there's a specific one that you have questions on, then definitely raise your hand or come see me at my desk. But negative 2 times negative 3, and negative times a negative is a positive 6. Negative 2 times positive 4 is a negative 8. So we've got 6x minus 8 equals 34. Now we are going to add 8 to both sides. So we have 6x equals, remember to keep that equal sign as you're going, because sometimes that gets lost when people are working, and that makes it a lot harder at the end. And then 34 plus 8 is 42. Divide by 6, divide by 6. So x equals 7. All right, next one. Draw your line through the equal sign. Distribute the negative 2. So we got negative 6x plus 8, because this is a negative times a negative, equals 50. Subtract 8, negative 6x equals 42. Divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6, x equals negative 7. Alright, next, we're going to draw a line through the equal sign. Let's distribute. Negative 2 times negative 3x is positive 6x. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8, equals 56. Subtract 8 from both sides. So we have 6x equals 48. Divide by 6 on both sides. X equals 48 divided by 6, which is 8. X equals 8. We have one more problem for this proficiency checkpoint. Now, this one does look a little bit different. It's still considered in the same checkpoint because we're only doing one thing to simplify. But this one, it says perform distributive properties, see parentheses. I don't see any parentheses. Combine like terms if present. We do have some like terms. Remember, negative 5x and negative 9x are like terms because they both have an x. They both have the same variable. Positive 7 and positive 6 are like terms because they are both constants. So first thing I like to do anytime I start solving an equation is put that line through the equal sign. Now, negative 5x minus 9x is going to be negative 14x. Now, don't be afraid to use your calculator when you're doing these, right? If we want to do negative 5 minus 9, I can double check and make sure that I have that correct. So that's negative 14x. And then we have 7 plus 6, which is a positive 13. So we'll put plus 13 since it's positive, equals 41. Now we have a two-step equation. We can solve it just like we have been. So I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. So 41 minus 13 is 28, equals negative 14x. Divide by negative 14 on both sides, and you get x equals negative 2. Because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. All right, so that is it for this proficiency checkpoint. If you're able to do all the U-tries, showing your work and getting them all correct, then you would receive a 90 for this assignment. And then, so finish the U-tries and then come back for the final video to get your 100% proficiency checkpoint. Good luck.